So, welcome to the Workloop AI live stream. Today's topic is, like smart automation and kind of what that means and how it could be powered by Workloop AI. So, I just recently tweeted out regarding there's an MIT study that was done with some enterprise clients that were saying that 95% of all the clients didn't actually find any value for any onboarding that was done for AI companies that have products. And I think I have a really good reason why. So I think what a lot of companies are promising companies now that are enterprises, they're promising the sun and the moon and the stars. And that's a big fallacy in the way that I think AI should be approached. They want to sell like a full solution that does all the things. And what I'm finding is the specialized companies, I'm not going to call them out, but there's companies that are like specialized in the legal field, companies that are in the HR field, companies that are specifically in specific automations of tasks. I think the problem that they're having is there's too many people that have too many requirements for the AI. And so they're treating it kind of how they treat most enterprise software, which is huge community of people. The security person's there, the HR person's there, Bob from accounting is there, and everyone has their little kind of angle that they want. And like, oh, by the way, remember my little fiefdom. The problem is you start treating it like designed by committee, and most enterprise software is like that currently. That's why you have these like huge bloated pieces of software that don't get updated for 15 years because it's exactly how they did it 15 years ago. That's not AI, right? So AI is not meant to be some enterprise kind of thing. It has to be creative. You have to think about it almost like imagine somebody who's new to your organization that is figuring out kind of what's important and wants to execute, but also doesn't have like the institutional knowledge always of how things are done, right? So that's a fallacy that I'm seeing. The MIT studies actually show it. I don't think people are going to break out of that until they start scoping it down to something, a smart automation. And what's a smart automation? I had somebody on Twitter also just tell me some like silly stuff that, that's small automations don't get $1 billion companies. It's like, that's not accurate at all. We're in the first inning of this whole game and they're making predictions. I don't agree with them. So as a builder of AI software, what you really have to do is figure out what parts of your workflow can be augmented first. So, what part of your day can be automated? I'll give you some really good examples. So, if you use something like Workloop to automate, hey, what meetings do I have today? Check my calendar, tell me who the people are, and what we've spoken about before, what action items are needed. That sort of thing, it does not the most glamorous thing in the world, but that could be executed efficiently and that can actually provide value. Again, if you have these like large scoped, multifaceted automations, what happens with AI is, again, right now, the current state of the art, it loses context. It doesn't quite execute what it's supposed to do, and then you're blaming the AI. It's not an AI problem. It's a committee problem. So I would suggest sign up for something like Workloop AI, do the smaller automations, get used to it, and then progressively ramp up little bits and pieces, and even have automations that work together harmoniously, right? So have an automation that checks a specific thing, another automation that has another slice. Don't create a monolithic workflow that tries to do everything because it's going to fail every single time. And
Yeah.
so I I'm like really passionate about that, and that's why I built Workloop the way I did to solve specific initial problems that people have, execute really well, and the number one thing is build trust. Because if you have a monolithic thing that seems to be designed perfectly but doesn't work, people throw away the whole idea of AI, even though that's not accurate. So I think it's very important for enterprise companies to kind of look at the world that way. Um, don't buy all the hype from all the vendors on the AI side that it could do all the things and make you 2 feet taller and slimmer and do all that in one day. That's not what it does. And the people that promise that, you should feel bad because you're selling snake oil. So
Yeah.
that's really how I feel about this whole thing. And it's just shocking how many people are like, whoa, 95%, it's hype cycle. It's like, guys, we're literally just getting started. It's the first we're just hitting the pitch right now. We haven't even stretched out correctly yet. So I don't, again, I never believe this gloom and doomy stuff like, oh, it's never gonna work, it's gonna replace everybody. I don't believe any of that stuff. So
Yeah. And something to add on to what you said about, companies and anyone just that they have to pay attention to what they're trying to tackle with AI. I think it's just like any other tool. It also depends on how good you are with the certain tool to tell it what to do, right? So I think it's something that's often overlooked with especially natural language models like Workloop is how good your prompting skills are, right? You can have an idea, but if you can't articulate it properly, then obviously you're going to run into issues and it's not going to get the results that you want. So I think um, where do you see, like, how do you anticipate that in a way, right? Like, I think it's good for sure to have people to teach people how to use the tools and how to get better. That's one thing. And I think also something that we've already discussed, but I don't think we've discussed that publicly, is we know some people will just be better at prompting certain things, and that's also why we want to empower these people who can prompt these good flows, to also be able to potentially monetize down the road what they can provide to Workloop in terms of, hey, I've built this flow, and maybe someone comes to the platform, looks for a flow, they can't really get the prompt right, and they see in the menu, hey, by the way, it feels like you're trying to achieve this, would you like to try that flow?
exactly.
um, so yeah, so definitely, I think that's I'd like to
Yeah,
also hear your thought on that.
I foresee if you're in the future a position inside of org that is uh, I don't even know how you say it, but most organizations, if you've worked in a large enough company, there's always like a specific person that's like amazing at like one specific thing. Like I used to work at a company and there was this person that was incredible on Excel. Any Excel problem, they were happy to help you, and we would run the entire company basically off these Excels.
Mm.
But I think you're gonna have people that are going to become like specialists because they're going to take some extra training and become like the, hey, I can help with the workflows, I know how to prompt it. In the future, I think even prompting itself would kind of start going away, but
Hmm.
where we are now, it's describing the problem in a way that um, that the AI can understand. Because I think people tend to gravitate towards like more generic things like check my calendar for anything important versus check my Google calendar specifically or Outlook calendar specific every Monday, every day at 8 in the morning before I arrive to work. Uh, check everything from till 6 p.m. Categorize those things in terms of importance. Here are I guess like VIP people like your boss or someone in the organization that is that might send something urgent, and and then we'll have conversations, right? Versus
Hmm.
like more broad things. I think people start really specializing, and it's similar to many other things. Like people start getting good at the software. I believe people will get really good at prompting and using AI to kind of like help them out, because the
Yeah.
end goal is it tells me like what important meetings I have, or if I should just cancel some meetings. And I'm not sure how many of you folks on a daily basis are like, why are we even having this meeting, right? It just eats up 30 minutes of your time for no reason sometimes. So it, most meetings can be emails, right? So it gives you your time back to do the things that are actually important.
Yeah. And it's funny because I was kind of thinking this morning about a parallel, because we talk about enterprise solution, about solving stuff within organizations, companies, but I think Workloop is also robust and designed for also solving kind of consumer aspect things like retail clients, just like normies, us, in our daily lives. And I was actually thinking that, sometimes you see these reels on TikTok with, life hacks. I feel
Mm,
like the moment, Workloop hits like the consumer, like the retail aspect hard, people will get so good at it that will make content. Hey, by the way, did you know that you could save time throughout your day by doing this? And
hmm.
I see them doing these flows for Workloop and people just replicating them.
Yeah, and it's interesting that you bring that up because part of, again, we're a product first company. So given the people we have on the wait list so far, it the enterprise solution isn't necessarily for them.
Hmm.
So I think we might have something in the future that'll help kind of like a broader scope of people. And I think it's a very interesting challenge because the demands are different. But I think there's something there, and so stay tuned. And we're thinking about that sort of thing all the time now.
Some nuggets. For those that didn't pick up on that, just remember what he just said. That's going to be important in the future.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, definitely. I think the positioning is for anyone. It's just like at some point it's just like when the internet came up, when the email came up. I feel like, as you mentioned, sometimes often is it's kind of like the iPhone moment for AI, and it feels
Hmm.
like the moment it becomes so absorbed and more of an acquaintance for the consumers, it's gonna explode in terms of adoption. Because right now we still have to bear in mind that AI's adoption is still very tiny for how good
Hmm.
it is and for what it represents. So yeah, very excited definitely about the future for that. Um,
Yeah, and I think what's come out so far is the LLM models, the amazing video stuff that's coming out, and that's all great, but it feels more kind of like um it feels a little bit more kind of like fun things to do, if that makes sense.
mhm.
And so at some point we're going to have like the rise of enterprise AI stuff. So stuff for work, right?
Yeah,
Let's be honest. Like it's the internet is like super fun, but then companies do billions of dollars in revenue online, right? So
yeah,
parts of it can be serious as well. And I think what Workloop is going to shine at is helping you manage all these enterprise software. We had some conversations in Discord with some of the members that are asking about like, well, how can it access some like super esoteric, you know, enterprise software? And there's solutions for that. Um, Even some super old software, as long as it's accessible via a browser, AI is going to be able to get to it, and you'll be able to do work on it. So
mhm,
I don't discount kind of like some of the enterprise stuff that like is hard to use as being able to be automated by AI. I think a lot of people will be pleasantly surprised that like, some old system that's like the lifeblood of their company is still gonna AI is still gonna be able to reach out and touch it. So
yeah. Yeah, I think it feels like we're afoot the mountain and there's so much in front of us, and I think it's definitely extremely exciting. And as you mentioned, right, that's kind of also where Workloop will shine. At least we're working towards that. Is there anything else in your mind where you feel like, okay, the next 6 months, the next year, where you feel like Workloop is going to be, is going to have so much weight in terms of, adoption and positioning?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think what makes Workloop kind of like from the business side, kind of like more sticky and more people able to use it is if you have a piece of software like this subscription that knows the kind of things that you're looking for, has access to all the data on your company, again, like all permission, all secure, everything like that, we're like take that very seriously. We're not vibe coding security here, like this is like enterprise software. So if you have something that really is that useful, I think a lot of people will adopt it in their enterprise, and we might even have people that are like championing this and saying,
Hmm.
"Hey, we really need to use this because it saves a ton of time, and let me share my workflow with you guys. You can update it to your specific requirements." And I think there's going to be a lot of that, similar to, I kind of see it like similar to like how Slack became this huge enterprise software. I remember when Slack, literally, I was working at a startup, and the founder of the startup was like, "Why are you chatting at work? And what is Slack? Are you guys slacking off?" What what that founder didn't realize was, instead of sending emails back and forth, we were becoming a lot more effective because we just pinged each other just very quickly. Hey, just real quick, can you check this line of code or do this little thing, that little thing? That's actually that speed and that adoption of Slack is not something that like I knew it was going to happen because
Hmm.
enterprises have communication issues, which is there's a ton of emails. Most of the emails aren't that effective or just don't actually aren't that relevant. And most meetings are could be an email. And so if you can ping someone and say, "Hey guys, can we move this meeting?" Uh, and then be more nimble. That's why it was so successful. I think AI is going to start finding use cases similar to that.
Hmm.
And if we can have Workloop inside of Slack, that would be amazing too. So we have like a roadmap. I'm putting it together so that people know that this is like a very serious project that's going to be around for a long time, and we're listening to the customers, and people really are giving us really good feedback. Keep it coming. Again, people on the wait list, people have reached out to me on LinkedIn, Discord, all of the methods that we have. We want to hear from you, especially if you're on the enterprise side. Like, what are your problems? What can we solve for you?
Yeah. Yeah, that's something that's definitely also very important for us, right? And there's a reason why we do, these broadcasts frequently. I mean, now we can say it frequently. It's been once a week
Hmm.
because we started last week. But the goal is that we keep that frequency high, and the same with AMAs on Discord. Um, because at the end of the day, right, the ecosystem changes so quickly. We are at the forefront of it, so we pay attention to what is living in the ecosystem. But what helps us stay grounded in our delivery is making sure that we have feedback from the people actually using the platform, actually seeing where the pain points are. So yeah, so in that regard, keep the feedbacks going, because it really does help us fine tune the roadmap that Frank has mentioned, to make it as relevant, but also as aligned with the vision that Frank has for where Workloop is going. That's also, I think, an important point to really match these two things together.
Yeah, and like I said, we're here for the customers. Like, the product doesn't exist in a vacuum. And like, in fact, one of the biggest things is people telling us like what software they use to make sure that we have a good integration for it. So again, like, keep it coming. And we're getting a little bit overwhelmed at the moment because there's a lot of people, but we're on it.
Yeah. And it's a pretty good segue actually in one of the things that we wanted to mention today. with, we thinking about, these people that can really, I'd say, use Workloop and then represent Workloop and kind of help, I'd say the product, make step into certain areas where we don't have access to. We wanted to introduce the fact that we'll be launching the ambassador program for Workloop. So we'll be dropping tomorrow the application form, and this is going to mean that will be spanning over the course of a few weeks. Obviously, we're going to take time to recruit the right profiles. You will see through the questions that we ask you. Um, because the goal here is really that we not only can have, the base of core supporters, is that we also want to be able to reward the people, contributing to the expansion of Workloop, specifically, on the timeline, specifically in educating. So these aspects will be extremely important when we'll be going through the application. So please bear that in mind. So yeah, we'll be super excited to open that up. Please know there will be limited spots as well. We'll be adding more people as we grow, but we want to make sure that we have a tight knit group of individuals who do see what Workloop is doing, who do see, the efforts that we're putting into this and what we want to achieve. And so, yeah, so these guys, obviously those who get selected will be having an even tighter feedback loop. You guys will be able to access early stuff that we are working on. So yeah, plenty of stuff that will be very exciting for you guys to be involved with.
Yeah, and I think the ambassador program is at a really good point right now because again, I think the conversations that I'm having are very high level. And I think there is a slice of Workloop that can be useful to a broader audience. And if we have, ambassadors and people that are like helping on Discord or reaching out on via like X or anything like that to reach out to more people, I want to work with people like that because they're going to spread the word to a lot more people than just us individually. And again, we want to empower all the ambassadors to know about the product. Again, you don't have to sit here and like close sales or any of that stuff. It's just sharing kind of, workflows. And I envision it as, like more educational and, happy to work with a good group of people. Again, it's going to be limited. Just fair warning, like, please do not keep hitting us up if you're not selected. We might select you in the future. We want to get a core group of people that are really interested, bringing something to the table, and also I want to work closely with, right. So if I'm going to take time to do that, I got to make sure it's like really good people that are really interested. And again, applications will be open very soon. More information will be on X, on Discord,
Yep. Tomorrow.
and we look forward to as many people as possible applying so that we can get a core group of people.
Yeah. Awesome. And I've just checked on Discord if there's any question, and on X, I don't see any question flying by.
Mm-hmm.
So I would suggest that we keep it short and sweet.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I think, we have an AMA this Thursday as well. We'll be
Mm-hmm.
scheduling it for 4 p.m. UTC. And if you guys have any questions, or if you have any questions that you want to ask, that we'll be going through on Thursday. As we said, we'll be opening the application for the ambassadorship tomorrow. So you probably may have questions then, and then we can tackle them together.
Awesome. Well, yeah, I think this
All
is a
right.
good spot to wrap it up. But again, keep following us on all our social media. We have a Linktree now, so that it's all organized for you. And yeah, again, this is Frank Ramos, the founder of Workloop, and I'm very excited for the future. Again, like no gloom and doom here. We're all gonna make it. So, yeah, sounds good. And thanks again.
Thank you guys. Have a good one.
Bye.